because I don't want to mess up the leaf above it. Okay. You know, it's always better if you can take the carving piece you're doing and attach it to something. That's better, because if you do that, then you got two hands free to do all your work. And I even thought about attaching this to my carving vise, but it's harder to shoot that way, so I'm not going to do that. But if you have the opportunity, if you've got a carving vise or something, go ahead and attach it. It just makes it so much easier for you to carve. Now I'm going to get this little section right here. You got to make a stop cut right underneath that leaf, excuse me, underneath the mouth. Okay. And sometimes on one like this, the way I'll do it is I'll come in from one side to the other at an angle. Now see, that's kind of screwed up. Then I'll come in the other side at an angle. And got a stop cut not deep enough or not connected right there. To work on that a little bit. There we go. Pop the chip out. I want to go just a little bit deeper. Cut my stop cuts again. Make sure they're connected on all the ends. And then I'll just here again, I'll very carefully lay that in there. Like so. I'll come back and lay it in the other side. Like so. And there I go. Now, just keep working at all these areas till you get them all the same depth and a good depth so that it throws a good shadow, which we're pretty close to that right now. Alright, and then I've got to come down here though and lower these areas yet. And take my little tool and get in there. Now these areas are not easy to clean out. They really aren't. But here again, you can take your knife, kind of stick it in there, turn it, lean it at a little bit of an angle, and cut, and then pop it out. And then they're kind of difficult to clean. Sometimes, if they're too much trouble, if you got a Dremel, use it to a little bitty burr, and stick it in there and clean it up. That's I give the guys in my carving club a hard time about using a Dremel. I call it cheating. But in actuality, when you're carving, hey, whatever you got to do to make it work. If it takes dynamite, so be it. Never had to resort to that yet, and I'll say yet. But if I felt like that's what I needed to do something, I would do it. Chainsaws, whatever. And if I get so old that my hands don't work anymore, well, then I'll go to power carving. And speaking of that, I actually do own a couple of Fordhams and a whole bunch of Dremels. I just don't ever use them. I don't like all the noise and the dust. One of these days I might though. Okay, I need to take out a little bit more right in this area here. I can see. Okay, there we go. Alright, now when I come back, we'll start in on these leaves. And I'll show you how I do these leaves. Basically, we're going to end up drawing lines. You'll draw, now this one here will be pretty straight, but even it I'll put a little S-curve to. And this is just really a guideline for now. I'll put an S like this. See how I did that? It's not straight. I never want a straight line. There's not very many straight lines in nature. So, and what that's going to be is that's going to be the lowest area of the center of that leaf, and actually you're going to come in like this, and these leaves will come in like this, and they're going to kind of come in the same places here somewhere. And then what we will do is we will take, like I said, a veiner, and this one here is actually a Well, man, you can't see it. Okay. I know that's hard to see, but that's about a 1/4 inch veiner, and I'll use it, and I'll also use, and if I can find it, a smaller one. This one here is about 1/8 of an inch, and basically what you're going to do here, and I'll just show you an example. I'll start right in the middle of this leaf, and I'm going to work my way back, and I'm just going to start gouging that out, and cupping that leaf is basically what you're going to do, like so. And I'm not going to do the whole leaf. You want to stay, maybe a 1/16 away from the edge. If you get out there too far, that leaf's going to chip off. Okay, and then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to kind of follow those lines I made. I don't want it to be a straight line. I want it to be a curve, an S curve, so to speak. And I'm just cupping, and I'm going to kind of come back into there. Here again, I'm going to come down here, and you're going to start working to put some life into these leaves. Where it comes around the inside corner, you have to very carefully follow that around. See, I want a little, if you can see this, let me get it where you can see. See how it's starting to do that? One little margin. You want to come around these inside leaves here, like so. And I'm just lowering that whole leaf on the inside, working it down right there, like so. Come out here and work on this one a little more. And this is also why I told you that by the time we get back to where the other leaf is, so you're going to lower this whole leaf, probably 1/8 of an inch or something like that. See if you can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, here we go. And I'm working at just using that little S type thing that I made a while ago. Now you notice I'm getting a mess up in here, but I'll come back and clean that up here in just a minute. I want to round that right there, where it comes around that leaf to the next one. Okay, now see, this is all going to have to come down in here. Just work it very carefully, especially when you get back up in there. Alright, now see, I'm going to have to come back where this leaf tucks under that other one, and I'm going to have to make that stop cut deeper. In fact, just actually the whole leaf, you'll end up retracing it, taking a little in the inside corners and push it in, outside corner, push it in, like so. And then it's helpful actually use something a little shallower, like like a number 7, and even this 1/8 number 7, and I'll just kind of come in here and very carefully clean that up where it hits that other leaf, and kind of clean this whole area up here. In fact, I can use it out in here. You can use it out there until I've got that leaf. It's not going to be perfectly smooth in the bottom. I'm not worried about that, but I do want it to be clean up in here where it hits this other one. And can you see that? Let's see here. Turn it the other way. Okay, you can see where I've kind of dished that whole leaf out right there. And here again, you're staying away from the edge, 1/16 or so. Come in here and clean that up a little bit. And then once we do that, once we get that worked out and cleaned up, then I'll come back and I'll take a V tool, and this happens to be about a 1/4 inch V tool, and you could draw these lines back in here again, kind of like this, kind of that S curve, and these kind of come in and S curve back down, kind of come in, and they come in about the same place. And of course there's another one up in here that you don't see, and I'll take that and I'll stick it right in that line and go ahead and cut it like so. You see that? Okay. Now I'll come in here and cut this one like so, and come in here and get where you can see it better. Come in here and cut it. Just kind of clean up the bottom of the ditch where all that comes together, like so. Come out here, cut one. Now you'll notice that when you get back up here, you're going to have a problem. But what the solution to that is get a smaller V-tool. Let me get even a smaller one here. In this case, I got about a 1.5 millimeter, and I can get under there and finish that. It'll get up to that edge. You'll have to come back and clean it up with a knife, probably. Just like so. And then, of course, like I said, you'll have to come back and clean that edge up with a knife. Right there, because you probably can't get in there with a V-tool. There you go, just like so. Alright, and that is basically how you finish the leaves. And that's what I did over here on this one. Of course, it shows up a little better because it's painted. But that's the basic process that you go through. If you wanted to, you could come back, take your knife, get right in the bottom of that, and make a cut line, and that will make it even show up more very carefully. Or if you own one and have one, you can take a very small, this is a 1 millimeter V-tool, and it will make a very crisp line, and you can run that right in the bottom of that. And all it does is kind of gives you a better shadow. And so that's what we're going to do, and I'll do a couple of them for you when we come back. I'm not going to do all of them on camera. It just takes way too long. I'm going to do enough to give you an example of how to do it, and then you can go and do that yourself. And then the next step, after we get all these leaves cut in, and I'll do all that off camera, and then I'll come back and we'll discuss it, and I'll show you some more things, and then we'll finish carving the eyes and what other details we're going to put on this carving. Okay, that I think.